Welcome to another Grit and Grime basketball podcast. I'm your host, as always, David Sagoe, here with Thomas Arnal.
Almost, yes. Well done.
That way?
It's the other way. Yeah,
that way?
Yeah.
Oh, that's where you are on my screen. Thomas Arnal, Jose, Garcia, Vidal.
Hello.
And we are back with another newser. Some of these topics, it feels like we're going back in time, but some of them are like bleeding edge topics. Some of them are in the future. Some of them are in the future. So covering all time zones.
With time travelers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Time splitters, if you remember that. I don't even know where to start, man. Let's start with current stuff. So the league has resumed after the All-Star break, and there's been some fun things going on. I'll start at the top. Ja Morant.
Oof.
I did say this guy's probably the most exciting player to watch in the league, and he continues to push that envelope, man.
Can you say that Ja Rule?
Ja rules.
Oh, how's that?
He's a dad.
Hey, I'm a dad.
Make dad jokes.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, you're allowed to.
46 points. Memphis Grizzlies regular season franchise record over the weekend. Followed that up with 52 on the Spurs. Who did he dunk on, Jose?
Jakob Poeltl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it sucks because he's actually a really good shot blocker, right?
Yes. But that's what makes it so sweet.
Yeah, exactly. That's what makes it better, isn't it? Mate, the game he had, that shot with the Hail Mary pass from Steven Adams that he basically caught in the air, shot it with 9.4 seconds to go. That brought back memories of Derek Fisher scoring with 9.4 seconds. But what a player. What a player. He's just full of confidence right now. His team absolutely believes in him as well. So, I mean, he's shooting from anywhere and scoring 360s and every possession. Like, it's just unbelievable. Did you see Allen Iverson's post on Instagram? He posted, or on Twitter, I mean, all his socials, I guess. He wrote sooner or later, right? With his MVP trophy and Ja Morant's jersey. So, why wouldn't we believe that will happen, right? Like what we're seeing from these guys. So the way we're talking about Ja right now is how we spoke about Steph 6 years ago, right?
To an extent, yeah, for sure. I think Ja's doing incredible things, not necessarily things we haven't seen before, which I feel like Steph was doing, but so what, right? Like he's doing incredible stuff out there on the court. And I think I can't help but compare it to like what Derrick Rose did in 2011, was that? Yeah, where just like it seemed like every night he was making some incredible play and the Bulls just kept on winning and winning and winning. Yeah, it's just I mean, I think he's even more exciting to watch than Rose was in his prime.
I actually have to agree with that.
It's
a really tough thing to admit, but yes, I look forward to watching the Memphis Grizzlies. I never ever thought I'd say that.
Imagine.
It's because you guys are young and your memory is still like that childhood. But remember, I was an adult already when Rose came up, so I remember him clearly.
And then the other thing is I think they're one game away from the second seed in the West.
Everyone's, apart from the Lakers, they all one win away from. Yeah, you're welcome. Everybody eat. They're all one win away from the second spot in the West. So tight.
One away. Yeah.
No, I think Martin is more of a mix of Rose and Iverson. Like physically reminds me of Iverson, but then the way he plays reminds me of Rose.
And some of like vintage Russell Westbrook there as well.
To an extent,
the way he attacks the rim
with basketball
control. Yeah, his control in the air, like as in the guy is getting hit and kind of like still manages to have that finesse at the end to score the baskets, and it's just crazy.
But then we've named those three players. He's probably flashier than all of them, right? More creative with his handle. Like I think like Iverson was obviously stupid quick and used that crossover to get places, but it was still just a crossover, right? Like some of the stuff Ja's doing with the ball is just ridiculous. And then like you said, the acrobatic finishes, some of them are like Kyrie-esque, but then he'll do like a 360 and all kinds of like super flashy stuff. He's just different.
And arguably he's a better shooter than all three players that we just mentioned, right? Because you see his 3-point shooting is far more efficient than
Well, Iverson wasn't an efficient player by any stretch of the imagination. You know, he was taking a lot of shots.
Yeah, a lot of
I think
shots.
What's his average? Like 35%? Like something
around that,
on
actually quite
2
low.
points.
Yeah, like overall.
Field goals. Okay, fine.
Yeah, field goals. Iverson wasn't the most efficient player in the world, but he had the moves, he had the style, he had the looks, you know, everything that was going for him, and he carried his team to the finals. So that's where I think the comparison. I don't know if Morant's going to take anyone that far, but you never know. You know, they have a team there, a proper team. You see the way they celebrated him getting 50 yesterday.
That's
like
good.
Taking photos and stuff. I was like, wow, that's really cool that they actually did that. It's a cool thing, you know. You usually see that with like under 18 something. You know, somebody scoring 50, and they go, oh shit, let's take a photo. And the fact that he did that, I thought was fairly good and shows it's a great team spirit over there, which accounts for a lot. You know, ask others.
Fun thing to watch the Grizzlies.
Yeah, they really are. I did say in my preview they've got a good young core over there, man.
I think there were quite a few people's NBA League Pass or whatever it's called, the team to watch without being from that city. And
do we see anybody in the Grizzlies or the Grizzlies as an organization getting some silver this season?
As in like individual.
Like Ja Morant, would he be considered for? I mean, I would consider him for most improved player. You know, like
MIP. Yeah.
Like I don't know if his numbers will back it up, but
they would. They would. He's like his minutes have only gone up by 0.7,
right?
But his points have gone up 8.5.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
His rebounds are up 1.9. His assists are down 0.8,
which is normal when he's score more.
But his 3-point percentage, as you said, has gone up from 303 to 34.4%.
I mean, I think he's not on the level with Giannis and Embiid and Jokic.
Yeah.
Not yet at MVP.
Not yet. This season, I wouldn't vote for him as an MVP this season. It would be one of the three. But you can. I'm starting to sense like a Messi Ronaldo dominance between him, you know, between Morant and Doncic, as in like one of the two is going to get the MVP every single year. You know what I mean? Messi being Doncic and then Ronaldo being.
Don't try to convince me by saying that. But
Doncic has never had a 2 seed. He's never elevated his team to the 2 seed like Ja is, you know?
No.
He's just not that level of great yet.
No.
Not yet. But
he's going to take a little bit longer.
Anyway. Give it a couple of years.
And Ja's younger.
22.
A year.
Future.
Yeah. Still.
What was I going to say? I think right now you have to put Ja above Giannis in the MVP argument.
Above Giannis. I don't know, man. Can you? Well, I guess if
I
you think
you have to. They've
like
won more games.
that's it, yeah. And it comes down to that.
Yeah, but the
They
West
won
is
like
weaker.
6 more games. It's tougher conference though. The West.
Is
Sorry,
it?
the East.
Is
The
it?
East is tougher.
Ah, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah,
All the
mate.
stars are in the East.
Hit
when they're not
those
injured.
Sixers, Cavs.
Oh, exactly, when they're not injured.
I don't think I would put him above Giannis.
All
I mean,
right.
and I guess like this is gonna be a really good segue for the next thing that we can talk about. But how do you consider him above? Like, what is it? What's he doing for his team? Like, is it compared to other players? Like is it numbers? What is it?
Aren't the reigning champion Bucks better than aren't they a better team than the Grizzlies? And the Grizzlies, as we said, are 6 games over. With that, those two things alone, I feel like we should place Ja above the Bucks. If you consider expectations as well.
Sure, you might be right, because on paper the Bucks are a lot better, more experience. They just won the championship, so they should be above, right? And the Grizzlies are like, if you take Ja Morant off that team, and they won good, right?
They won a bunch of games, but yeah,
I mean they did, but it's not the same.
I mean, the only not the only other argument you could probably argue for both players, to be fair, is damn, I lost it. Is I was gonna say something about the teams. Oh, like you could argue that because they won so many games without Ja, that it's either the coach or just the team chemistry or something else is actually responsible for the Grizzlies' wins, rather than just Ja being incredible.
Yeah, which is what I was saying, that team spirit, the fact that everybody knows what they're supposed to do on that team, and it's like, okay, their leader is missing, they'll have the team to compensate in terms of stats, and that happens a lot in basketball when you're trying to compensate by having a clear, defined system within the team and defined roles. Usually, your number 2. I don't even know who the number 2 is on that team.
It's Triple J. Jaren Jackson Jr.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, you split up the tasks trying to compensate for those points that would be missing and those assists and the rebounds. If your team is well-rounded, usually that's how it works, but only for a short period of time usually. It's just why you see other teams with injured stars and they just can't because they've not had that set up properly.
For sure. Where did you want to transition to, Jose?
MVPs, old MVPs, new MVPs, past MVPs. Something ridiculous that T-Mac said.
So T-Mac said that if you look at the 03 season, he should have been the MVP, not because Duncan wasn't great, he was, but because the team that he dragged to a 6 seed while playing excellent basketball was a much tougher task for him to do what he did than it was for Tim Duncan to, I think they had the best record in the league.
Best record, right? with the maps. Yeah, it was a 60-22, same as the maps.
Yeah. That his team was much weaker. So, shouts to screwing over your teammates in the media. But yeah, he thinks he deserved it because the team was weaker. And Tim Duncan was able to, play in a great system that got him more wins.
But you can also argue that the West was a lot tougher than the East back then. I mean, I'm talking a lot tougher.
Yeah.
Like there was clear dominance. Not like today, because today you could argue, right?
Yeah.
Back then, you knew that whoever wins the West wins the NBA.
There was an ocean of difference between the two at the time.
And
right?
And he was the 6th seed.
Yeah.
I think that back then, and I'm gonna say this to be very objective. Back then, an MVP was given to a team that was very high in the standings. Like you, what happened with Russ, for example, would have not have happened in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Right. So if it was a discussion of or a matter of Duncan or McGrady, well, the Spurs are first. That's it, right?
Yeah, then that's what happened, right?
But then, where did he finish in the votings? Like finished 4th or something like that, like behind Nowitzki and Kobe. I think
2003. I think Kobe was 4th or 5th.
Kobe was like 3rd.
2003.
2002, 2003 season.
Yeah,
that's what we're talking about, right?
Fair enough. T-Mac was a scoring champion, right?
Sure,
fine,
sure. But then,
that's it.
Being a scoring champion is a very different thing than being an overall MVP of a competition. You know, it's not just about scoring buckets. You have to do a bunch. You know, but T-Mac was doing a lot of things.
He was unbelievable. I think he scored 63 points in one game. I remember.
Is that the season where he scored
after,
like?
I think.
Was it after?
Is that the season where he scored those like 8 points in 10 seconds?
No, that was
no. He was still in Orlando.
That's
in Houston in 05, I think, or 06.
He averaged 32 that season, and it was like the most anyone had averaged since Jordan, basically.
He also played 75 games. So he was obviously unbelievable, right? Like, you know, eight free throws made per game out of 10, like 8, so over 80%, almost 2 steals, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. Like, unbelievable.
I mean, incredible stats, but I find it hard to pick him over Duncan or Kobe or Dirk, like for that year.
Well, Dirk was down in 7th, but Garnett was up.
Oh, Garnett's there than Dirk. Garnett.
Well, we're talking about these monsters, aren't we?
KG,
I mean,
KG early 2000 was a beast.
Carrying that team, doing everything.
Yeah, no, like he had back pain. He was so carrying so much, you know.
So I think what I would ask you, like, because he said one of his arguments on this conversation that he's had with Shaq is you take Duncan out of that team and they still make the playoffs. Do they?
Do they?
I don't think so.
You think they missed the playoffs?
Dude, like,
I mean,
you have a second year Tony
Duncan's
Parker
prime, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you have a second year
as Apex.
Yeah, second year Tony
Duncan
Parker
was prime the entire career. Like,
prime.
Prime.
Until 2012 at least he was prime. Like, but you have a second year Tony Parker. Last year David Robinson. First year Manu Ginobili. And then a bunch of other Spurs players. We're talking about Spurs players, right? You talk about Stephen Jackson. Okay, fine. Role player though. Malik Rose. Do you remember that guy?
Yeah.
Like Bruce Bowen, Steve Smith, very old Steve.
Danny Ferry.
Members.
Steve Kerr, like old Steve Kerr, right? Like, so it would have been really tough in a West where big men dominated. I think it would have been like a really, really hard thing for the Spurs to make the playoffs without Duncan that year. I'm not saying like 04, 05, different story. You have an MVP caliber Tony Parker, Manu getting better, whatever. But without Duncan, that team, it would have been really hard to win the playoffs.
Yeah. No, that's a valid argument. I wonder if the system would have served, but I mean, I don't even know if we could look it up because he played 81 games, man. Yeah, that is the craziest thing when you look at this list. He played 81, KG 82,
games.
Kobe 82, T-Mac 75, Shaq 67. Kobe went crazy in those games he missed.
And Duncan
Iverson,
was playing
82.
39 minutes a game as well.
Yeah. Dirk 80, but this was the slowest era in
fine.
NBA
Yeah,
history.
fair enough.
Ben Wallace 73, Jason Kidd 80. Like everyone was playing 80 games.
Everybody
Jamal
was
Mashburn
playing.
82, Steve Nash 82, Paul Pierce 79. It's crazy, man. So crazy. The good old days. Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head right out the gate when you said today it might be different considering Westbrook's MVP.
Yeah.
And that's why I argue against that MVP so much, just because it broke, like everyone just broke all of their conventions to well, people that voted him first broke their conventions to give him that MVP. And I think it then brings up questions like this, like where T-Mac was probably the best player in the league, maybe not overall the best player in the league, but he probably had the best season in the league. Should he have gotten the MVP over someone who was the best player on the best team type of thing? Same question could be asked about Kobe in 06 when he averages 35. Same thing can then be asked about Harden in, what was that, 2019 when he averages 35. Like it's like all of a sudden, should we start rewarding these people for these huge statistical outbursts and give them a little bit more leeway on the winning because their team wasn't up to snuff?
Yeah. That's the argument, isn't it? Like, yeah. So in conclusion, do you think T-Mac deserves that?
No.
The thing is, he still finished fourth on the voting list. Like, it's not.
So it's not like it came a close second, right?
Yeah,
but wasn't close second.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And the other thing is, we don't actually value where you finish an MVP at all. When you finish second, it's like there's one winner and everyone
exactly.
else.
It's
just
either
like
you are or
forgotten
you're not.
about. Yeah.
That's what Tom says all the time. If you're not first, you're last. Right?
You're last. No,
yeah. Yeah, and that happens. But staying on the topic of MVP, I feel like this year is a real changing of the guard.
Yes.
Because I feel like it's the first year where LeBron, Harden, Steph, those guys who are all over 30,
Durant,
Westbrook,
if you want to, Durant, Westbrook, they're not the top MVP candidates.
It's nature. Like
I mean, like, finally, it's like finally,
right? Yeah.
Same thing that happened to Jordan. Like, come on, dude. Like, done.
Somebody step up. He was 36, still winning MVPs.
No, it's just it's just a generation thing, which is like now you had the Currys, you had the Hardens, the Durant, and all those guys that have done. They've won it all. It's fine. Now it's time for a new wave, which is going to be what Embiid, Jokic,
Giannis, Jokic.
If we listen to ourselves, then Ja.
Yeah, So I have the latest top 10 on the NBA website on the race. Like, number 1 is still Jokic.
Yeah,
which I think is fair. But very close second in my opinion. But second in the list is Embiid. Yeah. I mean, what a season. And Giannis is still on third.
You know already how it's gonna go. I'm calling it now. 1st of March. Embiid is gonna win it. Yeah, Embiid is gonna win it. So. Jokic won last year. Oh, sorry, Giannis won last year. No, Jokic won last year.
Giannis 2 years before.
I get it. I gotta switch. You gotta rotate between the three of them. They might dominate for the next 3, 4, 5 years. So it's like, let's give it to another guy.
Well, the Rosen is in 4th right now as well.
Yeah.
After the last 6 games that he had before last night, but the last 6 games he was unbelievable as well.
35, or better. Yeah, I mean, the only way they doused him was the All-Star break. Sent him out to Cleveland. He lost his touch.
Happens to a lot of people.
It gave him flashbacks from the playoffs. But yeah, he's in fourth. Is Steph fifth?
Steph, yeah.
Yeah, Steph is fifth.
So he's the only one in the old guard. Actually, Chris Paul is on ninth.
Yeah.
He should probably be higher than that, right?
You think so? Higher?
Yeah.
I think this season is
good, man.
He's been overlooked this season.
He splits the vote with Booker, right? Is Booker on the list?
Yeah, on sixth.
There you go. But yeah, I just found it interesting. I was just thinking, like, hold on a minute. This is the first time for a long time that
I think you're right.
No one said like LeBron should be MVP. And then Harden's normally there or thereabouts. Durant, if he's healthy, which hasn't happened for a long time now. Real interesting. And Steph's cooled all the way off.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah, changing.
What's up with Clay, by the way? Is he playing? Is Clay?
Yeah,
he is.
But 2 minutes, right?
Quiet.
The team's just not the same without Draymond Green. I used to make these arguments when we first started the pod, which was back in 2017, that Draymond Green was the most important cog in that team.
He's the X factor of the team, better,
But I would rather have Draymond and Steph than Steph and Clay.
Agree.
Well, I had that argument with somebody else the other day, and I was like, Draymond Green is, to me, is like again, dropping a French name, but like Boris Diaw. That's the type of player that does everything else. That's ultra important for the team, and when they go missing, it's just not the same. Again, they're not the same level. Green is up there, but it's like that's that type of player that does all the little things very well. Very hard to replace. You can't just plug gap like that. Just need to.
Yeah, and not only are they talented enough to do so much for the team, basketball IQs off the charts. Yeah. Both of them.
Absolutely. But you need those.
Yeah, that helps everyone, even if they're just there to communicate, right? Even if they're not putting up any stats whatsoever.
Yeah.
If they're just there to communicate and keep things flowing, makes a huge difference. Just wanted to drop that little nugget in there. Kobe should have won MVP in 2003. Anyway, moving on.
Just put it in there real quick. Nobody noticed.
Why? It's so unnecessary.
Shaq went out, man. He carried.
You remember who won Rookie of the Year?
9 straight 40-point games. What, 2003?
Who won Rookie of the Year?
Oh wait, now I'm confused. Amari Stoudemire.
Yeah. I thought it was older than that, man.
No. He got cut down in his prime, if that.
Yeah.
He might not have even gotten there yet. I loved Amari. He was such a beast. Oh my God.
Powerful.
If only he could defend.
There were a couple of powerful players back then. Remember Kenyon Martin?
Oh God, Kenyon Martin,
Yeah. He was a tough dude as well.
Oof.
Strong defender.
All
NBA finalists.
Yeah.
So where are we moving to? So we mentioned the Bucks already. Their record isn't great this calendar year. They're hovering around 500 in 2022. Is it time to be concerned about them? They've had injuries. Then once they got Middleton and Holiday back, it looked like they couldn't be beaten. And now they're kind of middling out. Is it just a matter of getting through the season, getting to the playoffs?
It's all about prepping the playoffs at this point, which is you make sure everybody is healthy and ready to go, because at that stage you don't really care about the regular season. You're trying to get as high as you can so you can get all the home games, and you definitely wanted that. But I don't know if they really care. To me, there's always that thing where teams that just want it They're just trying to coast the regular season. I put that in brackets because
like the Atlanta Hawks.
So anyway, and then there's like you're trying to be ready around April. Basically, they have 1 month now. They've got 4 weeks to get everybody back to some sort of good shape, and then get a good run, like get back in the game, and then be ready for the playoffs. That's how they usually go for it. There's nothing left, much to play left in the season now. It's like,
what is it, 20 games now or something like that?
Yeah, it's 20 games. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
They can go on a 20-0 run and then finished up. But do you want to spend all your energy on that? No.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. And then speaking of the East, we had the East Bowl, 1 versus 2. The Miami Heat versus the Chicago Bulls last night. Miami Heat pulled it out.
Good win.
So I ask a similar question, a very good win. Are the Heat for real?
Yeah, man.
Can you see them finishing top at the end of the season?
Sure.
Well, it's a bit of everything. We just said that the Bucks are not too concerned right now. So you're gonna get a little bit of that from some teams, right? So the Heat can take advantage of that and get a top seed. I think it helps them playing at home, so that they're a bit more worried than that. Also, let's consider that a lot of the players were injured through the season, especially Bam.
Yeah.
So they're using this period to glue as a team again. And yeah, we've seen that. Bam balled out last night. Tyler Hero, amazing. Jimmy Butler is still there, very quietly performing. So, and their role players are doing their roles perfectly. So, I see the Heat finishing top 2, top 3, definitely. Like they're only a couple of games ahead of the Bulls right now, but they can distance themselves.
Yeah, I can see them, because I somehow for them it feels like it matters to finish top.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it does. Like you can tell from other teams, they're like not really too bothered if they finish second or third. It's all the same to them. But it's like, I think for them, they want to prove a point that they can be competing with the other teams, because no one's talking about the Heat. Like if you look at the media coverage list, barely any mention of them being number 1 or being a part of the favorite. So, and knowing Jimmy Butler, that'd be a source of motivation, extra motivation. So he needs motivation at all. But it's like, I think to me, it'll be the team you don't want to face in the playoffs, though. That'd be like the one team in the East you're like, you might make it through, but there'll be a pain in the ass to go through.
They're not going to beat themselves, right? They're coached too well for that. They have too many players with pride. Again, you mentioned Jimmy Butler, one of the best leaders in the league. And then they added Kyle Lowry to that, also one of the best leaders in the league. Like, they're not going to beat themselves. So,
and they were in the finals a couple of years ago. Like we forget about that, but they were in the finals.
I don't.
Yeah, you don't. But they were in the finals, so it's not like they're coming out of nowhere and they just like we've never seen them having a good run, a good playoff run. So they have been there, they've done it, so they could repeat that as well. Let's see.
And they got PJ Tucker out there as well. But I think we forget about that acquisition, and he's weirdly having like his best statistical season of all time at whatever age he is. So
he doesn't age.
Shouts to the 30-somethings. Some of us can still do it.
Some of you.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Shout out to the 40s, Udonis Haslem. Yeah.
Is he still in the roster?
Oh,
yes. Of
last
course.
season, isn't it?
Allegedly.
That he's supposed to transition into a front office or back, whatever. Some office job with the Heat. So
some office job.
He'll be doing admin, accounts. He's getting into accounts.
He's going to sort the mail in the basement.
Might do it all. He might actually do it all. Office manager, whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
A triple double in the office. Staying out east. There's new blood. New blood, Tom.
Is it?
Your boy, James Harden.
Oh,
Not only did he have a great game to start his Nets career against the Timberwolves, blew them out. He then had to beat up on your Knicks, man. Gave you a, 27-point triple-double?
29, sorry.
29-point triple-double.
Let me stop you right there. At this stage of the season, we can all beat on the Knicks. On the Knicks. Let's say it again. On the Knicks. You know, we the three of us could take on the Knicks right now. We just beat them. So it's not
an achievement.
What happened to the Knicks, man? What happened to the Knicks?
Oh, there's so much to talk about.
Got the slam dunk champion there.
Next week, right? Next week.
Yeah, that's positive. Obi topping.
There's a lot of positives, but that's massively overshadowed by a couple things that there's a lot of things.
Number of positives the Knicks had was when the COVID Omicron variant made everybody test positive. That was the most positives the Knicks had.
Wow. Wow. That was
a good one though.
Get it? If you're on Twitter, his handle is Jose in London.
That's it.
Get him.
From New York. Get him.
All right. So if that wasn't
facts,
if that wasn't a big enough test for the Sixers, they have the Knicks again on Thursday.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Yeah.
Before the Cavaliers on Saturday, which might actually be Friday, because I assume these are UK times.
Yeah.
Then the Heat the day after.
Oof. Tough schedule.
Yeah, that is a tough schedule. And then it says Tuesday, but I assume that's Monday against the Bulls in Chicago. And then, as I stated in the group chat, next Friday, which is probably Thursday, Sixers versus Nets in Brooklyn.
Ooh, and what do we think? Ben playing?
He ain't gonna be there. He ain't gonna be there. He ain't gonna do that.
They're saying a couple of weeks, a couple of months now.
Yeah, they're spreading it out. They're like, no. Let's hold him back. He's definitely not playing that game. I promise you.
No, it's not.
Yeah. So they have that stretch to come against 4 Eastern powerhouses, 4 top 5 East teams there. Oh, except the Nets, who obviously
three top 5.
3 top 5, and the Nets, who were top 1
should be
Durant
top
down.
Something. Yeah,
but they're not. So
no.
And he probably won't be back. But they've looked better as well after the All-Star break. It's been one game, but
yeah,
Dragic looks really good.
Yeah, Seth and Drummond, even Drummond, looks very comfortable playing for the Nets, which is good. It's good to see that guy back enjoying the game.
Yeah, Drummond was already looking good with the Sixers. Like he was the backup center, but like he was playing well. He had some great stats. He was actually well. So that's why I was surprised that they actually let him go. I was like, you don't really have a backup center for Embiid or somebody in there.
But now they're thinking about getting DJ.
Yeah, I know.
Sixers,
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I've seen that tweet, which was that they will do their best. No, they'll give him the best offer possible to try and get him. I was like, have you ever seen DeAndre Jordan play? Like, really?
He's done, man. He's done. He's cooked.
His game didn't evolve with the times, man. Unfortunate.
Yeah.
So seeing Harden on the Sixers, I mean, it's weird because Embiid is one of my favorite players, and I really want him to do well. But now the dark side of the Force has joined them, and I'm like, I just want to see them crash in the first round, but I also don't want to see Embiid cry again. I'm like, come on.
Tough, man. Players be getting traded.
Tough one.
Man, I had something to say now. I can't remember. Anyway, that's the name of the episode. Can't remember.
Well, anyway, I can't remember because I don't
remember.
So all right. So we've seen them play a couple of times. Obviously, small sample size. Yada yada yada. They're well in the race for the top seed in the East because everyone's so bunched up and together. Could we see them maybe not only finish higher in the seeding, but could we see them coming out of the East with this acquisition? How do we think this translates to the playoffs? Because from what I'm seeing, Embiid is getting the easiest buckets he's ever gotten in his life.
Sure. No, I know,
ridiculous.
And if you guard him, you have the other dude there. Like it's scary.
I think they have weakened themselves in terms of their bench. So it will be all down to how in shape those two guys are going to be. It will be literally like a 1-2 punch kind of thing. It's like old school 90s NBA was like you had number 1, you had number 2, and then a bunch of more players. It's literally the same there. Well, you've got Tyrese Maxey, right? You've got Maxey and Thibault, and there's good, like, again, they know all their roles on that one. They've got Danny Green, they've got, so it's okay. Like the starting five, I can see it. The bench is weak as hell. So unless they add 1 or 2 players in there, that might be kind of too short for the playoffs. Like imagine they go in the long run, like first round in 7 and second round in 6 or something, and like you just having more and more games. That could be a bit of an ask. I think that if they add 1 or 2 more players, like people to add on their bench, rotation players, then that'll help. But
and Doc Rivers likes to play his bench. That is the scariest thing. I think that should probably be the bigger question. Is Doc Rivers gonna mess up in the playoffs again?
And that's it. Like their coach is who he is. So it's like, if they both play, if Embiid and Harden play like 40 minutes a game and they average, both of them average like 28, 30 a game.
Well, yeah.
Sure, why not? Like you can go wherever you want with that. But I still question the productivity and the role of their bench.
But you do shorten the bench in the playoffs. That's the other thing.
You always tend to do it, right?
Do they have another 3 players that can give them significant minutes? Is the question.
Do they? Maybe.
The bench, okay, the starting 5 is what? Harden, Embiid, Maxey, Thibault, Harris. The bench is who? Paul Millsap.
Danny Green.
Danny Green, okay,
Jordan.
fine. Jordan soon. I mean, and then that's it. Like the rest of them, if I give you the names of George Niang, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Korkmaz, Charlie Brown Jr., Charles Bassey. I don't even know who that is.
Charlie Brown Jr.
Yeah, I know, right? Shake Milton.
He's lying on the house with his
Jaden Springer, Paul Reed, Isaiah Jones. Oh, they've got Willie Cauley-Stein, which is cool, but like none of that is gonna move the needle. None of that is going to help you in the playoffs. You might have one game when somebody contributes, they come out of nowhere and give you like a 25 points performance, and that's great. But like it's a long run. It's
the forgotten guy in all of this is Tobias Harris. He's getting paid way too much money for us to not talk about him as
absolutely
as needing to step in and step up. What we got? COVID. I feel like we shouldn't leave without talking COVID, chat.
Well, it was your perfect transition. You're talking about the Sixers and how they can put their face. My God, I just brought something.
Now that was a transition.
That's fine. That's a transition right there. You can talk Kyrie if you want.
Kyrie.
Big Kai. As I have it, Adrian Wojnarowski said, we quoted the mayor of New York as saying that the vaccine mandate was going to come to an end on March the 7th in New York City. Shams Charania then challenged that idea, not directly, obviously. I would love it if he just added Woj and was like, nah, bro, you wrong. You wrong, B. But he basically quoted someone else and said that there's still a clause that says that entertainment, there's still a clause in the private business laws that say that entertainers from New York cannot perform if they are not vaccinated.
So that's exactly that, and that's where he was right. And people were calling him out on Twitter, going, "No, you're wrong." But then the same mayor of New York, whose name is something Adams, can't remember what his name is.
Mayor Adams.
Yeah, said like, "Oh, that would be sending the wrong message to say that he's allowed to play, because what's being relaxed is the rules for people to attend large gatherings and reopening shops and reopening." Like we do have here, everything's open basically. But because they're still private companies, employees are still required to be vaccinated to go into the building. So that's not changing just yet. So he said that was send the wrong message to his employees and everyone who's working for a private company, that they're required to have a vaccine, but then you'll still allow Kyrie, who's unvaccinated, to be allowed into the building. And he's again, the mayor of New York is fully aware that it doesn't make much sense, because anybody else who's unvaccinated coming from another state can come in and play in New York.
But he wanted to close that rather than making it so that everyone was the same. Yeah, he wanted to close it. He hasn't been able to.
Right now, there's still a lot of mandates that are still in place that he can't change. Just quite yet. So it's going to take a little bit of time. Like you mentioned the 7th of March, knowing how things usually go at a snail pace for that kind of stuff. Like, to be fair though, we said that, and then tomorrow morning we'll wake up and they'll go, "Oh, there you go, done." None of that.
Yeah.
But I understand the mayor's like, he's trying to, what was his quote? Like, "I want Kyrie on the court. I would do anything to get that ring." Bullshit. We don't want that.
Yeah.
But still though, it's a lie. We don't want that. So there's still a couple tweaks to be done in terms of those mandates and those rules to be changed. But yeah, again, doesn't make much sense. But that's where we are right now.
Yeah. And then we finish on a happy note. We didn't really talk much about the NBA75 at All-Star Weekend, but halftime, there was a 27-minute ceremony where all 75 players came out. Did they give them jackets this year?
Yeah, but not all of them came as well. Like, a lot of them were.
These bums. Well, some of the important ones were there. Was AD there?
I can't believe he's.
That's all that matters. Of course he is. Of course he was. That's all that matters.
Did you see those videos, those pre-recorded videos of the guys that couldn't make it, that were waving from the screen? No. Scottie Pippen looked like he didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Hostage situation.
Oh, he was hacked. We don't know.
Wave.
Wave.
And backstage, there were pictures taken. Some footage came out of KG looking like he was giving the cold shoulder to Ray Allen. But then I think Paul Pierce recorded a video of them at halftime. And he was like, "Oh, look, they're talking. They made up. They're buddies or whatever." And Ray Allen, I think, leans forward and makes some comments to KG while his back is turned. KG turns and talks back. And then later, Paul Pierce posted on his Instagram a picture of the three of them together. So
that was good.
We know KG doesn't fake his emotions in any way, shape, or form. So if he's in the picture with Ray, then I guess they pieced it up, which is good.
Yeah, of course. I don't like seeing basketball players going at each other like all retired. Unless they were in a physical fight.
It's basketball, man.
Yeah, it's all right. They want a ring. It's okay. I know you want more.
But Isaiah Thomas still doesn't talk to MJ though.
I know. Yeah.
Those guys are older though. They're more stubborn. So
they're more stubborn, but also I think it felt like he was more like they were never teammates, and I think they were also going at each other's throats physically.
They were never teammates because MJ didn't want him to be in the dream team.
Yeah.
Hey, you saw the doc. I never told them not to put him on there.
Yeah, never told them.
but I took that personally.
Oh god, yeah. No, it was nice to see those photos. It was nice to see them.
Isaiah Thomas. I've met all the criteria.
Yeah, I mean, freaking Christian Leitner was in that team, man.
Oh, fuck.
Man, I can't believe he was such a good college player and such a bad NBA player.
I know, right?
So
Did you guys watch
weird.
the documentary?
I hate
On
Christian
Disney
Leitner.
Plus, I think. Yeah, I hate Christian Leitner.
Really,
so
really
great.
good stuff.
Oh god.
And they picked him over Shaq as well, because Shaq was a college player that year as well.
Yeah.
But
because
arguably, Leitner had better numbers and he was a more
He
complete
was more
player.
successful as well in
Right?
college.
4 years in a row.
Yeah. But
And that shot that he takes
that
to
last
beat
second
Duke
shot.
in finals, like, oh my God. Ooh.
yeah. But then in the pros, man, Shaq had that.
He had that weird haircut as well. Like,
everything.
he was like
he's a
the
very
Birdman before the
punchable
Birdman
face.
existed, but he was lame.
Yeah.
He played with Jordan too, remember, in the Wizards.
Did he?
Oh,
Yeah, he
really?
was that
on
team,
that
man.
team.
He was that team.
Oh,
I can tell you the starting five right now.
How did they not win
Yuck.
the league that year?
Popeye Jones, Gordon Hayward. Was it Ethan Thomas,
Yeah.
Ethan Thomas. Eton
Rip
Thomas.
Hamilton,
Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
Rip.
solid team, yeah.
and Kwame Brown.
Hey,
What about
Rookie of the year.
Stackhouse?
Jerry Stackhouse. Yeah, but I
45
think he
year
was.
Stackhouse,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, he was.
Yeah.
It wasn't a terrible team, right?
I mean,
On
they weren't
paper.
all good at the time. Stackhouse was a good player for that team.
Yeah,
Rip wasn't
the-
good yet. He
yeah.
got
Except
better
MJ
later.
was there, so
Yeah, so pass it to Mike.
yeah. Pass to Michael.
Yeah.
who was gonna say no? Right? Like, yeah, you're out, mate.
Yeah. It's like, nah, you old Bree. Nah, you can't do that.
But what's your take on the top 75 list? Because there's a lot. I still see a lot of discussions online about so some people's argument is like, well, for example, again for me, it's like Tony Parker not being in that list of
I saw that.
Dame Lillard.
Westbrook.
But it's like, but again, it's like,
MVP.
It's an MVP. That's the thing. It's like so there's still that discussion between the people that are like, well, it's an individual thing, which is like, okay, if you've got like mad stats, you'll be in there. Whereas Tony Parker was more of a team effort, right?
Yeah.
So it's like,
But then T-Mac is in there and he had mad stats.
yeah. But it's like, but in that case, so that because it still bothers me with especially Tony Parker. But again, that's more of a nationalistic stuff. But it's like, for everything he's done,
Careful, Tom.
it feels weird that he's not in
Tom.
there still.
Nationalistic behavior is.
I know. At the moment, it's
fashion
not hot.
now.
It's not hot right now. It's not hot. But you know what I mean? It's like over Dame, who's not won much, but may have obviously better stats overall.
What's up with Dame? All NBA teams?
And I love Dame.
All
I
NBA
love
teams,
Dame.
man.
Like I have his jersey. Like I still have wet dreams about him on YouTube. I go sometimes and I watch that and I'm like, oh shit,
Jesus Christ, Tom.
give it to me. But do you know what I mean? It's like
Why?
You're a different dude. I mean, we did an episode on it, right? And I think part of the issue is that they kept the original 50. They didn't review everyone from the original 50. So there are probably, if you were to actually just go like, all right, an equivalent, not an actual one-on-one tournament, but if you were to just go, okay, this player versus this player, who was a better basketball player? And then you come out with your 75, it would be a different list.
Yeah.
It would be a different list.
We'll revisit this in 25 years when we do the top 100s.
We'll do an episode.
For sure.
We'll
We'll
God,
dedicate an episode.
Special.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Tom,
Are you going to be 65?
we'll do it with
In 25
holograms.
years, when we do the top 100. Oh my God, I'll be retired.
Jose's like, oh wow, sucks to be you.
I'll
I'll be a young
I'd only be-
57.
Yeah, I'll only be 63.
Yeah. It sucks. I want to get off. That's horrible.
You can retire in 25 years, Tom.
Probably not. I'll probably be working until 75. So
Yeah, they'll come up with
Wow.
robots and special lotion that keeps you young.
Anyway, Where is this going?
Yeah, I don't know where the rails are, so we're gonna end this.
What's this dystopian future? Which
With
I've never heard
lotions.
of this kind of dystopian future.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
robots that the robots don't take over. The robots just keep you working.
Yeah.
Damn.
Nanotech.
I don't even know if I want that. I'd rather the opposite. I'd rather they take over, I think.
Yeah, just take over, do everything. I don't want to work.
Exactly.
Once they are the only ones working, they basically run the world. So
No,
bad
to
things
just
will
give us the
happen.
money. We put
Shouts to Horizon Zero Dawn. That's what happens.
wait. Spoilers.
No, not at all.
Not at all? Okay, fine.
I would
Fair
never.
Right.
Hey, I mean, if that's the future, then we're one step closer. And you're about an hour closer to that after listening to this pod. Thank you for listening. I've been your host, David Sagoe. Remember to like, share, subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on whatever platform you listen to. Give props to Tom. Hit him up on the socials. He's doing gamer things. He's doing nerdy things, movie things. Yeah, he's out there doing stuff. Shout out to Jose.
Yeah.
Hit him up on socials.
Yeah.
Best hair on the pod. Sorry, Tom.
Oh, that's fine. That's easy. I just got hair, so I don't.
And I think
There's
we're
some
out.
robots that are making us work.
We're done. They are. They're controlling our bodies.
With lotion.
Bye.
It's the COVID vaccine. No.
Yeah.
Oh no. It's okay. The earth is flat. All right, cool.
Oh no.
Don't at me. All right.
We out of here.